Hello everybody, this is Gareth Coon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. This one here is Prime Minister Netanyahu touts achievements against Iran while distancing himself from US-Iran deal. Netanyahu concedes the struggle is not over and done. Following the American declaration that an agreement with the Iranian regime has been reached, Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu addressed the Israeli public in a rare press conference, touting his achievements during the war while declaring that Iran's axis of evil is weaker than ever. The statement came after strong criticism of the emerging agreement from across Israel's political spectrum, and after Israel appeared to be completely sidelined during the negotiation process. Air Force Chief Major General Omer Tischler also confirmed on Tuesday that Netanyahu halted a massive wave of airstrikes against Iran 2 weeks ago under pressure from the Trump administration not to endanger the talks that eventually led to the deal. Apparently acknowledging the lack of known details about the agreement, Netanyahu began his statement by vowing that without an agreement, Iran will not have nuclear weapons, not today and not tomorrow. Responding to a reporter's question, he later asserted that despite reported tensions, he and the US President Donald Trump have a relationship of partners who know each other. Many times we see eye to eye, and there are also cases in which we see less eye to eye. I am responsible for Israel's security interests. I stand up for them. He went on to list what he describes as the campaign's major achievements against Iran, saying, "We fended off an immediate threat of annihilation. Together with our American friends, we launched the largest offensive air operation in Israel's history." Netanyahu then pointed to strikes against Iran's nuclear program and military leadership, adding, "We neutralized nuclear scientists, decapitated the leaders of the terror regime, pulverized nuclear facilities, destroyed missiles, and the vast majority of the factories that produced them." He also highlighted the broader damage to Iran's military infrastructure, stating that Israel had struck countless military industries and infrastructures, destroyed their navy, their air force, neutralized the besieged commanders who massacred the Iranian people, and caused enormous damage to the economy of Iran that took them decades to build. Netanyahu reiterated his claim that the regime was not only close to achieving a nuclear weapon, but also intended to bury its missile and nuclear industry deep underground just before the war. This agreement was made by the United States, by the President of the United States, and he believes that he can truly combine both the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and the cancellation of the nuclear program. And I repeat and say that this is his decision and he is leading it, he asserted. But despite all the achievements, Netanyahu was forced to concede that the struggle is not over and done. We will need to maintain our vigilance, remain strong and determined to defend ourselves as required. Repeating a point made by Defence Minister Israel Katz this week, Netanyahu highlighted the creation of the security zones in the Gaza Strip, Lebanon and Syria as one of the main achievements of the war. He also reiterated that despite the Iran deal reportedly calling for a withdrawal in Lebanon, the IDF would hold all three zones for the foreseeable future. "I wish to clarify we will remain in the security zones for as long as it is required to defend our country, because after October 7th I established a simple principle. Israel will not allow terror organizations to encamp on our borders, to tunnel into our territory, to prepare for a massacre close to our citizens. The Prime Minister closed the statement with an election pitch. He later told reporters that despite rumours to the contrary, he fully intends to run in the coming elections, which are scheduled for October. We will continue to neutralise threats in the region. We will build new alliances with countries in the region and beyond. We will ensure that our own domestic armament independence. This is another principle I established, and I am investing 350 billion NIS in that. As a supplement to the defence budget, we will develop technologies that break the boundaries of imagination, and we will turn Israel into an even stronger power, Netanyahu promised. Most senior opposition leaders responded to Netanyahu's statements on Monday evening. Gadi Eisenkot, the former IDF chief and current leader of the Yeshari party, who had been rising in recent polls, called the statement very regrettable, especially in light of the failure to achieve the war's objectives after nearly 3 years. We heard the same declarations again, which are once more a sleight of hand, a denial of goals he has previously declared, and above all, zero real answers to the people that indeed endured the hardest years in its history. Iran will continue to be a bitter enemy against which we will continue to operate and thwart its actions, Eisenkot said. Neftali Bennett, Eisenkot's main rival for leadership in the opposition bloc, slammed Netanyahu for implying that as long as he is Prime Minister, Iran will not have a nuclear weapons program, meaning the second he is no longer Prime Minister, Israel will be destroyed. This is a terrible and false statement, the greatest disaster that has ever happened since the founding of the state happened on his watch, Bennett charged. The term of this Netanyahu government began with a civil war, continued with October 7th massacre, and is now ending with a historic failure against Iran, he told reporters at his own press conference. Bennett promised to do everything differently once he is re-elected as Prime Minister, including returning to the security concept of fast, strong and decisive wars, improving the diplomatic service, particularly public diplomacy, and enforcing mandatory conscription, among others. Neftali Bennett is just blowing smoke, because if he was such a good leader, why did he get voted out the first time? And he didn't do very much when he was there, only cowtail to the Biden administration. Bibi is the strongest Prime Minister that Israel's ever had. And yes, he might have outstayed his welcome, but nobody can deny that he has been the best Prime Minister that Israel has ever had. And it will take one hell of a leader to ever match his capabilities as a leader and a statesman. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.